From the inner sense of time comes the ancient poet's rhyme, bringing us the master key to open up the mystery. From the depth of time and space, we arrive in quiet grace, finding what is meant to be as we explore the mystery, pouring forth from days gone by. We can hear the poet sigh from the depth of ecstasy, moving into mystery. Hello and welcome again to Creative Connections. I'm your host, Gary Blanchard, and today my guest is singer and songwriter Adelaide Fay. Adelaide, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So you came in from Quincy.
Yes, today. Born in Northampton, raised in West Brookfield, but I just recently moved out to the city part of the state.
Okay.
Which is new for me. Lots of people out there, not enough trees in my opinion.
Okay.
But yeah, hit some traffic on the way, but I made it.
All right. So what interested you in performing and writing?
Well, my grandmother was always in the church choir and brought me to sing with her all the time, which I thought was super cool. And my mom was in a funk band up until I was born.
Huh.
My aunt is a music teacher, and so music's kind of always just been in my life, and I've just always loved it from ever since I remember. I've been singing, and I started writing songs as I guess I started writing poetry first.
Okay.
And then I kind of integrated music into that because I thought it was so cool. And it ended up being an amazing outlet for me emotionally. And I just kind of rolled with it as kind of like a therapy almost. If anything went wrong, I could write about it and turn it into something beautiful.
Okay. So you kind of write more from what's going on in your life as opposed to some of the songwriters who like kind of write stories and characters.
I mean, yeah, definitely it is like intensely personal in a way, but there are, exaggerations in my songs.
Well, sure.
And metaphors, like it's not all literal what I talk about. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Do you find sometimes that there were things you would like to write about, but people will say, well, they'll think that's going on in my life?
Definitely. I mean, I try to not write music for other people. It's kind of just for me, and people can take what they want from it. And of course, it makes me really happy if people can take and relate personally to my songs in like a positive way. Mm-hmm. But also there's been some, I talk about some things that people don't like sometimes.
Sure.
But they can, take it with a grain of salt, and they don't have to love it.
Okay. I think if you worry about pleasing everyone, after a while you'll just kind of drive yourself crazy.
Definitely. And then it's not really true art anymore, is it? If you're doing it to please someone else, or if you're doing it because society or some superior wants you to do it a certain way, it's really not, that's just not what I do.
Right. Now, you perform in the area.
Yeah.
when you perform, do you mix your own songs with familiar songs?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I play a lot of covers, ranging from, you know, classic rock and blues, folky stuff, to modern hits. I try to please the crowd,
Okay.
have fun with it, and definitely. So I probably have like 2 hours of original music that I throw in sporadically for my gigs.
Okay. Why don't you play us a song?
Okay. So I'll play you this song. It's called Dead Leaves on the album. But this song is a great example of how a song can like evolve over time, because it used to be called Dead on the Ground, which is kind of too metal of a title, especially for this song and any of my songs really. And there's a lot of tempo changes that didn't used to be in here either, that my bass player helped me develop. So I guess I'll just play it. I don't remember the leaves changing color. They were just dead on the ground. No intermission, no bright reds and yellows. They were just green to brown. One day I was up as I was strolling, rolling down the hills. I hit my head first and laid still. When I woke up, I felt sick and uncomfortable, from dumb and happy to knowing and cold. Sometimes I forget to open my eyes, and I miss the world spinning around. With my eyes closed, I don't complain. I'd rather see the world through the sound. The puddles in the road will quickly lose their flow as long as they can see the sun. The mess I made today gets pushed back far away until I consider it fun. The parrot wants to fly, but it is stuck inside with featherless things that just didn't get it. Kind of like you and I pretend that it's all fine just because no one said it. Sometimes I forget to open my eyes, and I miss the world spinning around. With my eyes closed, I don't complain. I'd rather see the world through the sound. I don't remember the leaves changing color. They were just dead on the ground. Ta-da.
All right. That was great.
Thank you.
So that, I love how it kind of changes from very mellow to very bluesy to kind of very folky back to bluesy. Just really
Thanks.
interesting changes.
Thank you, yeah.
So where did that come? How did that song come about?
It's great that you comment on the interesting changes, because the song is kind of, I wrote the song when I was probably, well, I must have been 18 or 19, because I was moving from West Brookfield out to the western part of the state to Greenfield. And I was going through a lot of changes. You know, it was my first apartment, living on my own, well, with my high school boyfriend. I was a whole mess and a half. But but yeah, the song is about, you know, kind of falling on my face a lot, and, you know, not doing very well, but learning a lot from those mistakes and from falling on my face and embarrassing myself a bunch of times, and coming back out on top. And, you know, and it, you know, I learn from experience, so like I have to make all these mistakes before I learn something. And so that's kind of how the song jumps from, you know, all those different moods, and like comes back and forth from that. And it's really fun to make music that, you know, makes you feel that way, you know, somehow.
Yeah. You know, and it's interesting because I think it's so important that we accept that things happen in our lives, and rather than seeing them as obstacles, we really do need to see them as learning experiences.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that's a lot of wisdom there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Who are your musical influences? Who would you say in kind of?
Definitely my two like musical mothers, I like to say, for me personally, are Fiona Apple and Ani DeFranco.
Okay.
I get a lot of inspiration from both of them, and I feel like I'm just like a product of them. But also, you know, Joni Mitchell was a very early influence for me, because that's one of the like 4 CDs my mom had in her car with like Blue and Santana, and you know. So, I don't know, powerful women who like play their instruments and write all their music and sing what they care about.
Joni Mitchell probably is one of the big influences for many female acoustic.
Definitely.
Because she was one of the first. And I think in a lot of ways she eclipsed a lot of the men who hung around her.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah, I can see where that would be an influence.
Some powerful ladies.
Yeah, yeah. So, but let's hear another song.
Okay. This is another one that used to be called something. It used to be called Punching Bag, but again, that's like too hardcore of a name for the song and for anything that I would write. And it's funny that like my songs are like generally pretty gentle, but for me they're so powerful, and like sometimes like have these negative connotations that they have names like Punching Bag and Dead on the Ground. But this one, I changed the name of it on the album. It is now called Windmill, which is like a much nicer name, I think. And the tune kind of sounds like a windy kind of day. Running, I've been running right out this door, thinking I could find more. Fooling, I've been fooling everyone, telling I'm having fun. I really don't care if it hurts. I'm a minimum wage millionaire, it could always be worse. I know honesty hurts. You're a king and you're a princess when your crown falls and it breaks into pieces. I'll pick it up before she does. I really don't care if it hurts. Keep on swinging, make it worse. We got caught in a windmill, who'll stay on longer? I really don't care if it hurts. Keep on swinging, make it worse. Keep on pushing, blow me away. Oh, I'll be your punching bag any day. Thanks.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I like the way you use the variations on the D chord, and that really does kind of give you that feeling of movement,
Yeah.
like a windmill.
Yeah.
So that's great. Now you've alluded to having a band.
Oh yeah.
So tell me about that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I have always wanted a band and never really had the confidence to go out and find one. So I feel like my band kind of found me. My bass player is an amazing guy, and it's a funny story. I used to have this practice space out near Greenfield, like a studio that I rented for music practicing, and the person across the hall from me liked what he was hearing and stuff, and we were talking and getting to know each other, and turns out he was the bass player in my mom's band in the 90s and wanted to play my songs with me, and I was like, do you have an upright bass? And he's like, as a matter of fact, I do. And because I've always dreamed of having an upright bass that dun, dun, it's such a cool sound,
yeah.
And it really kind of matches my vibe that I'm going for. And so it was like a miracle that he was interested in playing my songs with me, and actually really connected to my songs in a meaningful way, and really has been one of my biggest supporters ever since we met, and is just a really great friend. And him being in the music scene for so much longer than me and having so much experience has really helped develop all my songs into these incredible, much more cohesive songs, because he cares and is knowledgeable. And so that's my bassist. And then I play with a drummer. My bassist name is Peter Kim. My drummer's name is Cade Parkin, and I met him through a mutual friend that I was playing in a jam band with, and he's this incredible drummer, and he posted it on Facebook a few years ago that he needed to fill space in his house. He had an extra room in his house in Northampton, and I needed a new place to live, and so I ended up moving into his house, and we ended up being best friends. And he didn't actually start playing with me until I met Peter, which was after I had moved out of that apartment and stuff, but we were still really close. And anyway, so yeah, my drummer and my bassist are two of my best friends and biggest supporters, and just great guys, and I'm so lucky to have them.
How do you find adding instrumentation changes the song?
Oh my God, it's just a monumental change, having the dynamics. All my songs they're not all the same, obviously, but they have kind of the same feel, or because I only know how to strum the guitar so many ways, and my brain only can make so many ways of how to make a song. And adding such talented, unique players to my music has changed my songs dramatically for the better in ways that I could never have imagined.
That's great.
It's so great. I love it.
Years ago, my brother would play bass for me.
Oh yeah.
And he was a phenomenal player. And it opened the songs up so much.
Yeah.
So I can definitely understand that. And you also have an album that you've alluded to.
Yes. It's called Exhaleration. I was living with this really interesting fellow who was doing a lot of breath work, and which is, really focusing on the breath and, using it in yoga techniques and, connecting mind and body and spirit. And his name's Matt Thompson. And I met him right as I was finishing my album and needing a name for it. And he actually was doing a podcast that he called Exhaleration, and I was like, wow, that's a great name. And it really, I hate to steal his name, but I talked to him. It's fine. But, I named it that because all these songs on this album are songs that I've written from ages 16 to 24. And so that's like a lot of time. And it's like all these songs are my favorite songs that I've written in that time frame, and they're all songs that I was just so ready to just put out there and kind of not forget about, but kind of forget about, like just move on from, and on to bigger and better things. And so those songs are kind of an exhale for me. It's and exhaleration kind of sounds like acceleration.
Right.
And, so I'm moving forward and I'm getting rid of this big breath of not so much negativity, but there is a lot of not the fondest memories correlated to some of these songs.
Right.
But, I do love them all to pieces, and I'm very happy to have them out there and not done with, but just.
Right. So it sounds like maybe it feels like it's freeing you up to move in other directions musically, because those songs have found a home now.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
That makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
So how can people get the album?
My album is on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. You can type in Adelaide Fay anywhere on the internet and you'll find it. It's got a picture of me in my parents' rowboat in my parents' pond playing this lovely guitar. It's called Exhaleration, and it's got 12 songs on it that I wrote, and I'm very proud of it.
Okay. Right now it's just in digital.
Yeah, right now it's just digital. Making CDs is pretty expensive and kind of difficult, and not a whole lot of people, use CDs anymore. I find in the crowds that I'm running in.
Yeah.
I will get some made, but I just don't have them right now.
Yeah. No, and that's like you say, more and more people are going to digital music. I'm old enough to still buy CDs.
Yeah, and it is just nice to have a hard copy of something, especially something so personal to me. I plan on getting some.
Yeah. So why don't you do another song for us?
Okay. How about we do a harmonica song? So I just recently, not recently, like a year or two ago, I picked up the harmonica, mostly because I don't consider myself a guitar player. I can play the guitar, but I mostly use it to accompany my voice. But I think a lot of my songs needed a solo or some variation.
Right.
And so instead of, learning guitar solos, because I don't know why, I picked up the harmonica and, to give some variation from just singing and playing guitar.
Well, and again, it's a great folk tradition.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan, Donovan, and on through the years. So let's hear what you have.
Okay. We can do this one. Take some time, make your own pantomime, and spread yourself as thick as you can. Get on stage stage, make your minimum wage and try to keep your head up when the weight of your world holds you down. Come on, darling, please don't tell me my own flaws aren't real. I've been learning, I've been burned by every candle I steal. And I say I'll be different, but I never really try. And they say that they're happy, they're just high. I see that voice in your head, it's my own little spy. I had a hard time being a soft girl in a world that requires some strength. Crack me open with your fingernails, maybe you'll find and hop on my wavelength. Say your prayers to what you think is up there, because I heard it's coming down hard on you. Call your ma, tell her everything's wrong, and you're a big lump and nothing doing something nobody cares about. Come on, darling, please don't tell me my own flaws aren't real. I've been learning, I've been burned by every candle I steal. And I say I'll be different, but I never really try. And they say that they're happy, they're just high. I see that voice in your head, it's my own little spy. Say a prayer so what you think is up there, because I heard it's coming down hard on you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thanks.
So if people want to find your music, want to find where you're playing next, where would they?
I have an Instagram and a Facebook account, Adelaide Fay Music on Facebook. I post all my shows on there as well as on Instagram. My Instagram name is Adelaide Fay with 3 Y's. That's the A. And yeah, I post on there. I've been gigging out almost every weekend around here and mostly in Western Mass too. I'm working on getting more gigs in Boston because that's where I live now.
Right. Adelaide, thank you so much for coming in. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And I want to thank you all for tuning in. And we'll see you again next time on Creative Connections. Life goes by so quickly. Time just slips away, but tomorrow brings a brighter day. Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream. Tomorrow's even closer than it seems.